The year is 2010, and in May of this year, a revolution was begun with a crowdsourcing tool, Kickstarter, being used by two people, James Swirsky and Lisanne Pajot, placed onto the site an idea and a request for funding for their movie project. That movie was Indie Game the Movie. The premise of Indie Game is very simple. It follows three developers at various stages in their development cycle. These are all small Xbox Live Arcade games and include Braid by Jonathan Blow, Super Meat Boy by Edmund McMillen and Tommy Refenes, and Fez by Phil Fish. Each of these games are all now highly held in regard by critics and the gaming community, yet this movie looks at each of these games in a different light, to give you the entire view of the development life of an indie games maker. For Braid, this is seen as the complete article and looks at what life is like when you have some success and what you plan to do with it in the post-release world. For Super Meat Boy, this is all about building up to the release and seeing how much of an anxious build to the crunch this is, and then the final release of the game. And finally, there's Fez, a game with promise very early on and sees it being stuck in development hell for such a long time, and the pressures and pains that this can take upon the developer. So why is this groundbreaking and new? Well, this is the first major release, and I use that term purely in terms of its hype, to be crowd-funded through Kickstarter, which has seen a recent surge in its popularity, with people such as Stephen Toulouse, formerly of Microsoft, Marion Call of Woodstock fame, and the Penny Arcade team taking to using this service. But the real question is the movie any good? In truth, yes, but there is a but here. This is, in all essence, a documentary about video games, and perhaps has limited appeal to those people who play or work within the industry. Outside of this market, there appears to be very little to offer the audience, but a small insight into something they have no interest in. As a video game player, I found it amazing just to see what smaller 1 or 2 person teams have to go through in order to get their game out to the marketplace. This movie does not edit out or shy away from the darker side of the developers either. Each of these developers has flaws, such as an inability to take criticism like Jonathan Blow, or like Phil Fish, whose perfectionism appears to have led to setback after setback after setback. But it is with Tommy Refenes that we see the darkest of these personalities, as he battles with what appears to be depression and other conditions, which really bring across the suffering and torment that a developer has to suffer for their art to be made public. This movie is a well-deserved award winner, with it being a part of the International Sundance Film Festival and winner of the Best Editing within a Documentary at the same festival name. It has a lot of heart, showing the world that is obsessed with kill streaks and combos, just what it means to the people who make this all possible. Considering this project only raised $23,000, $8,000 more than it was originally asking for, there is plenty to show for it, with the editing having a pro feel to it. Music being composed by Jim Guthrie, the Canadian musician behind the Super Brothers Sword and Sorcery video game soundtrack, and is shot just to create an overall style that the camera is there to capture life as it happens, not just make it happen. At its core, this movie is a movie made by people who love to make movies and play video games. And I guess this is why the movie appeals to me. I am a part of the niche that they are aiming for. I can recommend this movie to anyone who has an interest in the industry or just enjoys playing video games. Beyond this, and there's more of a battle due to the fact that this is a documentary about video game creation. I guess this is really the documentary maker's curse. Never to become the star of the world, but really just to be the spotlight operator, shining enough of its light on the ideas that it has in the hope that this is the show that someone notices. Thanks for watching. Please remember to leave a comment, share and feedback your ideas for future shows to me over Twitter at Dr Dogbert or in the comments section below. Oh, and one more thing. Just remember, if you ever want to pirate a game, just go ahead and think about how much time, effort and their soul the developer has placed into this game, and like you, they have earned the right to be paid for their work.